Can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. You wanted her, so just give me what I...
Hey gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another Marvel Avengers video. And before we get into today's video, guys, as usual, let me do my shameless plugins. If you're not, make sure you are following me at all the appropriate social media at Tanek127. And if you want more Marvel Avengers news, guides, updates, and stuff like that, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel, and let's go ahead and talk about what we want to talk about. So big thank you to Square Enix for hooking me up with a review code and sponsoring this video. They did hook me up with an early copy of the game to give you guys content for, so special thank you to them. And in today's video, we're going to be giving you guys a brief beginner's guide on gear. Now keep in mind, today's video is strictly a beginner's guide, so there's going to be a lot of mechanics and later on things that I miss. Make sure you guys are subscribing and sticking around so that way you see the intermediate guide and then the end game guide for gear. But this is basically just going to be an overview of, your basic stats and things like that, how to upgrade your gear and what you need to do, what you're looking for, and different things like that. If you're in the game and you're having some trouble, completing missions and stuff like that, you should consider upgrading your gear or farming some new items by running older missions and stuff like that. And that's what we're going to go through today. So every character, we're using Iron Man as an example today, is broken down into 4 stats: a melee rating, a ranged rating, defense rating, and heroic rating. Melee rating, obviously, your melee attacks. Ranged rating is your ranged attacks. Defense rating, your health and how much defense you have. Heroic rating is, your heroic abilities and powers. I'll give you guys a little breakdown on those here. Melee damage, ultimate heroic rate charge, heroic effectiveness, critical damage, critical chance, and perk chance. Defensive rating, armor, support heroic charge rate, max willpower, aka your health. Remember that. Anytime anything's referred to as willpower in this game, willpower is your character's health, that long white bar you see in the game when you're in combat or doing a mission. Willpower, recovery, effectiveness, and that's the other stat for defense. Ranged damage, assault heroic charge rate, heroic effectiveness, critical damage, critical chance, perk chance. Heroic rating, armor, support heroic charge rate, heroic effectiveness, critical damage, stun, status meter damage, and status resistance. Now, one reason you guys are going to want to get yourselves familiar with everything that's in these sections is because a lot of your gear will affect these different attributes in these areas. Gear is going to come with perks and different effects and stuff like that, so you want to be mindful of the gear you pick up and make sure you always read the descriptions in your gear when you get it. Gear is going to come in a couple tiers. It's going to be common. There's going to be the which is the gray rarity. You're going to have a green rarity. You're going to have a blue rarity. You're going to have a purple and probably a gold, orangish, or yellow style gear, which is in most of these RPG looter style games. Now, this screen, if you've played Destiny, Anthem, or any games like that, or Warframe, this screen should look fairly familiar to you. I'll break down, what else is here for you as well. This right here is your player card. Level 3 right here, as you guys can see right next to the armor symbol, that is my character's basic level. And power right here, that is my character's gear, aka power level. For the sake of this video, we'll just call it gear level so you guys know that power is referring to gear. But remember, the higher your power is, the stronger your gear is buffing your character. Once you hit the game's level cap, you're going to want to focus on getting that power level as high as you can for new content and things like that. Now, as you guys can see, I have some Faultless Spark gauntlets here. They are a power level of 7. I have some Mark III experimental repulsors. They are a power level of 13. I have some Common Plating, which is a power level of 7. And I have a Mighty Quake Reactor, which is a power level of 6. Now, your power up here is going to go by the average power level of all the gear you have equipped. Unfortunately, I don't have any artifacts equipped right now, but artifacts, they work the same way as gear does. They have a number that averages with them as well, except artifacts do different attributes and bonuses for your character. We'll talk more about artifacts in another video, but right now we're just going to go over basic gear. Now, as you guys can see, under each piece of gear, they all have, some type of bonus, some type of special effect that they do, like these faultless spark gauntlets, for example. They increase my melee critical attacks and grant me a heroic charge burst for all heroics by 15.8%. This Mark III experimental repulsor, it'll increase my my damage by repulsor attacks by 12.5%. Every piece of gear, like I said, they come, most of them anyway, they come with perks. A lot of common gear and stuff like that, they don't. And upgrading these pieces of gear can also give you more perks and make the gear's effects even stronger. You upgrade gear by collecting these resources, which can be from breaking down spare gear, which I recommend anytime you have gear that you don't want, break it down. You break it down in your menu by simply going over here to your item, into your items where you see the gear pieces, and holding down Y or triangle, depending on if you're playing on PlayStation or Xbox. Obviously, I'm playing on Xbox. We got a couple different resources right here. These are used for this one right here, the fragments. These are used for purchasing items from vendors. The upgrade modules, these are used for upgrading high power gear. The nanites, the nanotubes, the catalyst, and the plasma are all used for upgrading gear. The polychoron and the uru, these are used for upgrading artifacts. Like I said, we'll be talking about artifacts in a later video. Every time you click a piece of gear, down at towards the bottom, you're going to see a resource requirement for upgrading that gear. If you have enough of the items, you can simply upgrade. Like I said, you guys will get these resources by simply playing through missions, picking up drops, or breaking down gear. I recommend just breaking down tons of gear, especially when you're early stages of the games. Letting this stuff add up to use for, you know, things that you need and stuff like that later on is a really smart thing to do in these kind of games. But when you do upgrade your gear, I'm going to let you guys see what happens right here. As you guys can see, my Mark III experimental repulsor went up to a power level of 14. So now, not only does it give my character more power, but he also has stat benefits, and now that piece of gear is even stronger and benefits me more in missions. When you upgrade your power level to your gear, it can increase the effects of your perks. It can give you more perks if that gear piece has perks unlocked, like that PIM oscillator perk, the second perk you guys see right there with the pink symbol. That perk was locked about 2 power levels ago. I kind of wish I would have saved that so I could have showed you guys on the video. But yeah, upgrading your gear and things like that will definitely help you out early on in the game. Now, big fat disclaimer, these games usually focus heavily on endgame and things like that. I wouldn't recommend upgrading every single piece of gear you get early on in the game. I would definitely focus more on upgrades later on towards mid and end game when it comes to these kind of games. But if you're having trouble with a certain mission or something like that and you need a little boost, upgrading your gear early on definitely is not going to hurt anything. But anyway, guys, if this guide helped you, be sure to smash that thumbs up button for me. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. It's your boy Tnek127, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, peace out. Take care.
You just wanna hold